Welcome to episode 2 of Building the Roma. Today we're going to be looking at building the hull of the ship as well as the deck. You can see here one of the distinctive features of the Roma is that forward deck with the bold white and red striping. Also along the sides of the hull there's the camouflage pattern. You can see here a top-down view of the forward deck. This is the area underlying where the red and white stripes had to be built. The most obvious way of laying down the striping would be to put red and white tiles on that forward deck area and just try to make a series of stripe patterns across the forward deck. However, I wasn't happy with that because of the blockiness that you get out of just laying tiles in a diagonal pattern. I decided the best way to tackle that was to rotate the tile layer so that the diagonal of the striping coincided with the straight edges of the tile layer. Of course, when you do that, you end up with a tile layer which is sort of out of orientation. It's rotated relative to the next underlying build layers. So that turned into two particular build issues: how to attach the rotated tile layer to the underlying structure, and also I had to make the tile layer match the overall shaping of the underlying deck. So in order to do that, I had to carefully step back the edges. So essentially what this means is I'm trading blockiness in the diagonal striping themselves for blockiness along the edge of that striped tile layer. And all things considered, I wanted the stripes to be nice and smooth, and I could live with some blockiness around the edges. So here we see the forward deck, and you can see the stripes. I was happy with how those came out nice and smooth, and the blockiness around the edge sort of disappeared into the gray of the hull, so that wasn't as bad as it could have been. Here we see the completed tile layer. It's essentially 3 plates thick tiles and 2 layers of backing plates. And you also see the guardrails along the edges that I added. That helps camouflage a bit of that blockiness. Overall, I was happy with how it came out. I did get the smooth diagonal striping with the red and white, which was what I was really after. That tile layer then gets mounted on the front of the ship. One of the challenges was to figure out how to do that, since the plates on the tile layer are out of the grid orientation relative to the structure underneath, so it took a lot of figuring out where the studs could attach, but at the end of the day I finally was able to do that. If you look carefully in this picture, you can actually see the 2x2 jumper plates where the tile layer attaches, and I just had to, by trial and error, figure out where the studs would end up lining up so it could be attached. Another benefit of this thin tile layer is that it's flexible. If you look at the photographs of the ship, the deck as it approaches the bow actually changes in elevation and bows on a gentle slope towards the very front of the ship. So I was able to recreate that by flexing this tile layer just very slightly as it approaches the bow of the ship. So it's mounted so that there is that curve, a very gentle curve towards the tip, and ultimately I think that look came out very well. The other challenge was to lay out that camouflage pattern along the sides of the hull of the ship. So you can see here how that was done with different colored tiles on the edges of the hull. And since the sides of the ship were all built in stud sideways orientation, That made it relatively easy to add those colored tiles on the outside of the hull to make the pattern. And here we can see the completed hull of the ship with the camouflage pattern, as well as that forward deck with the striping. Recreating those markings in Lego on the ship was certainly a challenge, but it was part of the reason why I chose to do the Roma in the first place. Thanks for watching, everyone. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and hopefully you'll join us for our next episode. We'll be moving on to the superstructure of the battleship, as well as the turrets.